Hey guys, what's up? We're going to walk through just a single play right now, which is just kind of something I want to show as far as kind of what the a couple of the struggles that they're having on offense, down to how they're running routes, some of that stuff. And so we're going to get to it. So you have to look at my face, a small version of my face, I guess. So here's what we're looking at: a couple different things. We're going to look at this guy here to kind of see what he's showing, because he's going to show he's sitting back and it looks like he's going to blitz. You got Wink Martindale, you got four guys up, and you got this guy kind of sneaking down. Looks like maybe he's blitzing there. Rodgers hits him with a cadence, so we're going to watch him kind of sneak down, and then he kind of ends up falling back. So that's important. That's important because Cobb is going to be running this little kind of this skinny route here. And so if this guy is blitzing, you throw hot to Cobb. That's the thought. So Rodgers is kind of trying to get them to show his hand a little bit. Now these guys are kind of moving around a little bit. They like to disguise a lot of stuff. The real action we're going to look at is over here. You've got this. So this is 3rd and 8. We've got up here a little bit of stuff. 3rd and 8, 11 personnel. They're going spread empty. First quarter, 14. So this is the first 3rd down of the game. And so what they're going to do over here is they've got this little kind of switch release around there that looks like it's probably going to turn into that. So you've got the switch release. You're going to be reading the boundary guy there. Let me put him in a different color. And put him in. You're going to read the boundary guy because you're going to see what he does with Tunyon. If he follows him inside, that means you likely have this. You're switching. You're playing with the rules a little bit. You're seeing who you can get to spring open, and then you also got Cobb running this little skinny here. So the first check is going to be, if this guy comes, ball's immediately going to Cobb. That guy, unless he's closing. Now, if he's closing really hard, that's a different story. Doesn't end up mattering in this case, but that's what we're looking at. We're looking at him. If he comes, next check is likely here, and then you throw to Cobb. If not, you move over here. So Rodgers is going to kind of work the cadence a little bit. You can see that dude kind of sneak in. He's looking. He looks like he's going to blitz. Rodgers looks. He ends up fading back. All right. So now we got him fading back, which means you take away this from Cobb. Now Cobb's still going to run that. I think likely what happens is you end up getting the kind of like a little glance route there initially, but instead that guy shows his hand. Cobb kind of gets upfield, gets that skinny. Now, what to do about these guys? Because again, Rodgers is looking over here. We're going to run this. We're going to see what happens, and we'll talk about it. You've got this guy's bailing. They're getting ready to switch. They're going to cross over. Again, like kind of an in and then kind of up there. That's not really a post wheel, but if we want to call it post wheel, that's fine. Got this little combo here. They're crossing. They're switching stuff up. They're trying to take advantage of this guy on the outside, and if not, they're going to attack the middle. They end up, there's contact downfield, but they're cutting at the wrong depth. They're not. You can see him kind of, this guy's here is trying to cut underneath, but they end up, there's like a little stutter step thing. It's all muddled. It's all confused. Rodgers is looking. All right, that's dead. This is now gone. I've got nowhere to go with the ball from here. You've got the other routes here, a vertical out. You've got an in cutter from Lazard out, which means all you have is Cobb, who's now clear, and you've got the safety here. So now it becomes secondary, because again, your first read was Cobb on the glance. Okay, that's gone once that guy's gone. So then you move over here, reading that boundary defender. They close. You can't move anywhere else. You've got nowhere else to go. So Rodgers then, he's got a clean pocket right there. He's looking good. He probably starts to, I say he's looking good. You have that guy there. I missed him. We'll run that back for a second. So what does he get off of the, he comes off the edge. So he gets inside Bakhtiari. So we'll see that. So off the edge, that's 55. Drives inside Bakhtiari. They get this loop. You got a man on the ground here. So that guy drives in. That guy loops around. Rodgers starts feeling at this point. He's got nowhere to go with the ball. So then it gets secondary. So if you watch the broadcast view of this, and I think we'll see a little bit from the end zone view, it looks like, I initially thought, and I don't know who Rodgers is going to here. My initial thought was he's going to Lazard, and then he missed Lazard, and was going to Cobb. So it looks like these two guys are in the same area, but they're not. Well, they are, but it's a secondary read, and the Packers have rules for secondary routes. Do this, if this, blah, 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 once the initial thing breaks down. But at a certain point, you're also just trying to get open. And so sometimes this will happen. These two guys kind of run and counter. Again, Lazard was running a dig from here, running a glance there. They're kind of moving a little bit. And they end up in the same spot. That's not the problem. and ends up going to Cobb. Cobb catches it. He goes for 35. The problem is that the initial read was Cobb. We'll run it back. I swear I won't belabor this point any further. But now that we've seen it all, initial read is Cobb, likely going here. But once this guy drops out, Cobb makes that skinny and goes up. So the next thing is this little switch. But once they run into each other, the rushes hit home. Rodgers has nowhere to go, so he has to move, and he ends up throwing a Cobb. So not a great look on the first third down of the game. Again, like I don't necessarily hate the call. You've got answers for a couple different problems there. But you've got on your main concept on that play, the main one he's looking at on that trip side, to the 3 receiver side, Cobb's out, go to the concept. Concept involves men just running into each other at the break, at the little 10 yards down the field switch over point. That's the big part. That's the key part of the play. And they ran into each other. So we're seeing too much of that this season. I'm not the biggest fan. We'll watch. He loops around. You get a couple loopers there. And then Rodgers just a ridiculous throw. There's nowhere for that throw to go. Listen, just a ridiculous throw. And then Cobb gets a field because he's Randall Cobb, and Randall Cobb is the best receiver to ever play the game. I don't actually mean that. I just love him a lot. So just wanted to look at that first third down of the game. Some of the problems they're having. This play worked out okay, but the initial route was busted, was broken up. And the reason it was broken up, it was partly a little bit of downfield contact, which seemed inadvertent, but mostly just guys breaking at the wrong depth on that switch release. You got to cut underneath each other. You don't have to make it that tight when you're 10 yards downfield, and they're doing it that tight. They get the details just a little wrong. They end up running into each other. That's out. And then Rodgers has to make some magic happen. So hope you enjoyed this. I'll talk to you next time.